Hey guys, welcome to the Noob Casino. Today we're going to actually do what I've been promising for a few videos now, and we're going to do a little bit of a learning and education on roulette. In my words, the things that I wish I knew when I started learning and watching YouTube videos. So we're going to get right into it. Let's increase our screen size. First thing that we're going to go over is we are playing European roulette, and European roulette has 1-0. American roulette has 2 zeros. So just be aware of that as you move forward into your roulette journey, that 1-0 and 2-0 boards do exist. The difference in the board is nothing other than 1-0 and 2 zeros. Now, if there's any other details that are missing, they're not relevant to a newbie, right? It is 1-0 and 2-0. That is the major difference here. And as you can see, statistically, 1-0 plus 36 numbers versus 2 zeros plus 36 numbers mean that the zeros decrease your chances of winning when you have numbers on the table. That's all it means. It just tips the advantage to the house a little bit. It does create a couple different scenarios in which you can place your chips between the single and the double zero, but for all intents and purposes, we're going to be doing our training today on a 1-0 European roulette board. So here we are. Let's get into it. Let's first discuss how new you are to playing roulette. If you've played roulette on your phone or in a casino and have not had very good success at winning, this is the video and the channel for you. I also want you guys to be aware that there is going to be some lags and delays. I am playing right now with real money in a real online casino. So we're going to do this training with real money in a real casino. You can see we've got a $21.50 balance right here that we're starting out at. You also notice clocks. We may have some loading issues here on and off because it is being, I do have software running in the background for geolocation so that I'm able to bet live real money here. Now, let's talk about some of the basic winning strategies here, right? On the board, you can place a chip on any individual number. We can place 10 cents on the number 8, and we can hope that the ball lands directly on the number 8. If it lands directly on the number 8, we win. Okay, so let's undo that. We can place those chips, 10-cent chips, anywhere on this board on any individual number. Now, when I was learning roulette, I knew this. Let's make our screen just a hair bigger here for you guys. Okay. When I was learning roulette, I knew that, right? Like, okay, I want the number 5 and the number 23 to win. Perfect. Okay. I can spin this roulette board. We can risk this 20 cents and we can hope that ball lands on one of those. What I didn't know when I was very first beginning my journey is that you can put bets in the middle. So now I have a bet on 5 and 8 and 23 and 26. What this does is it now gives me 4 chances to win with the same chip, right? When you're learning strategies, you're going to hear a lot of the professionals talking about units. This is 1 unit. So it doesn't matter if it's 10 cents or $1, it's a unit bet. I may say that, I may say chip, I may say 10 cents, but just kind of understand when you hear those phrases, they're kind of interchangeable because unit takes out how much it's worth and just lets you know to place 1 chip here. Okay. Now we clear the board because then I learned that you could place bets in the corners, right? So I can place the bets in the corners. And now I have a bet on all 4 of these numbers, and I have a bet on all 4 of these numbers. And we can talk about what the payouts are, right? But just right now, understand that the same 10 cents just got spread between 1 number, 2 numbers, and now 4 numbers. And then I started to learn that there were other things that you could do. Okay. Now, I'm going through this kind of quickly because it's not rocket science. However, when I was learning to play roulette, it was valuable information that I wish I would have known because as I started to learn different betting systems, they're like, do a corner bet here and a single bet here and whatever the structure was, right? As I was learning to bet whatever the payout was, and I didn't realize that the split bet paid whatever the split bet was. And so I was trying to learn these different systems. Oh, let's play, corner, 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 row. And I did it because I was imitating what they were doing online. And I didn't really understand what I was doing. So I want to start this training with just basically where you can put your chips, right? You can put them on a number. You can split the line. You can do a corner, right? You can also come down here and you can bet on an entire dozen or this entire dozen or that entire dozen because 36 divided by 12 means you've got 3 different dozens you can put money on, right? And then the same thing works here. There's 3 rows because there's 12 numbers in each row. So you can do these dozen or this dozen or that dozen. 12 numbers, 12 numbers, right? And then you can come down to this bottom line here. And this bottom line, 19 to 36, 1 through 18, right? Do you see what's going on here? It is half the board. Odd numbers. Sorry, that's just a summary from what we've been playing with. Odd numbers on the board, even numbers on the board. Red numbers on the board, black numbers on the board. Notice none of these bets, as they highlight, none of these bets, any of them, include the 0. It is a standalone bet. To bet on the 0, you have to say it's going to land on 0. Okay? Now, there is an exception to this where you can bet a split. Oh, apologize here. You can split the 0 and the 2. And there are some systems out there that have you do that because they'll cover these other numbers a different way, right? So you get the 0 and the 2 split so that you've got some coverage on the 0. Now, we should understand where we can put chips, right? Now let's understand where else we can put chips because there's a few more places that we haven't talked about. You can put chips. Oh, I am so sorry, guys. We can put chips here. Oh, I'm so sorry. We can put chips here, right? We can put chips down here. Oh, no. Well, and it's not letting me. Okay. Well, you can also put chips and run the streets. You can also put chips and run this individual column. Okay. Right? So you need to understand what's going on with all of the different bets. And I was going to see if we had a chart here available to me. Do we have a chart available to me? We do not have a chart available here. I was hoping that this online, here we go. I was hoping that they would make it easy. I can't show you this chart because it's being shared on a different screen. I'm so sorry, guys. It's easy to Google, but you'll notice here that when you're betting on different things, they do have different payouts. And what I want to go over real quick are some of the different payouts. So if you bet on an individual number, right, you get 35 to 1. So if we bet on the number 2 and we get a win on the number 2, we get 35 chips for the 1 chip we put out there, regardless of the denomination, right? Units. We get 35 units for every 1 unit here. So if there's 1 unit, or 2 units, or 3 units, we get 35 to 1. If we bet on a split, 2-number split, we get 17 to 1. right? So if we bet right here and either one of these hit, we get 17 units for every 1 unit we have splitting this line. Makes sense? And then there are a couple other ones, right? We do have street bets, which are 3-unit bets. Street bets pay out on a 11 to 1. Okay. Street pays out 11 to 1. A corner pays out 8 to 1. So again, in our example, if we put it here on the corner, it pays out 8 to 1. So if it lands on any one of these numbers, we get 8 units for every 1 unit that corners them. Okay? Pretty consistent, right? Um, column bets pay 2 to 1. We've got dozen bets pay 2 to 1. So columns are what they're listing these as, right? I call them rows because they go left and right, not up and down. Officially, they are column bets. Column bets go left to right here. They pay 2 to 1. Dozens pay 2 to 1. So you get 2 units back for every 1 unit you put out. Okay, same thing over here. 2 units back for every 1 unit you put out, right? And then the ones that are down here pay out 1 to 1. So if I put they pay out 1 to 1. So if I put a number here, then it pays out a profit of 1, right? So if I put 10 cents here and I win, I'm going to get one of their tokens back, one of their chips back, one of their units back, right? So if I put out 10, I win 20. I've netted a 10-cent win. Okay, 1 to 1, 2 to 1, and then all these other ones are, 8s and 11s and 7s and 35s. And, I recommend that you download a chart and get familiar with it just so you can kind of understand. And by no stretch of the imagination am I a professional. I am just as new as everyone else. I'm just about a year or so into my roulette career, but I really felt like there was some training and some value that I could bring to the common person looking to get into this in order to use it as purely entertainment. So now that we know where we can bet, now that we know how much we can bet, right? Now we need to really start to understand how the process works because as you're on YouTube, as you're on TikTok, and as you're following other people and they are telling you betting systems, roulette systems, you can now understand how those systems work. For example, if I put 1 unit here and the ball lands anywhere else, right? Here, or the 0. If the ball lands anywhere else, I lose my 10 cents. If the ball lands here, I get my 10 cents plus 2 of their chips, right? So I've won 2 to 1. So I've got their 2 to my 1. So I get my 1 back and their 2 back, right? Now, what happens if I put a bet over here? Okay, so now we've got this dozen and that dozen covered. If the ball lands in any of these 24 numbers, right, we will win. We will only win based on the parameters of the bet. So understand if the ball lands on number 20, we get 2 to 1 back on this, but we have nothing over here. And we have a bet here, but the ball didn't land here. So we're going to lose here. And it's important to make this distinction because we now have 20 cents on the board. Okay. We now have a bet of 20 cents on the board. And with a bet of 20 cents on the board and a win at number 20, our pay would be 2 to 1. So we would win 2 of theirs and keep ours. But one of theirs has to cancel out the one we're losing. So we're only going to net win 10 cents. I'm going to take a pause right there and make sure everybody understands. We have now covered 24 numbers, but we're spreading that risk at the peril of losing one of these. and at the ultimate risk of losing both of them if the ball lands here or on the 0. Okay? So the reason I want you guys to understand that is because the same concept works here. I can cover one of these rows, one of these columns officially. I can cover one of these. And if I cover one of them and it hits, I win. If it doesn't hit, I lose. If I cover 2 columns, then what happens is if it hits this one or this one, I win minus the loss. If it hits the middle one, I lose altogether. And I tell you all that because now I want you to take where you can bet, how much the bets pay, and strategizing those payouts to understand that a bet here and a bet here and a bet here start to form what they call strategies. Okay. And this is not a strategy. I picked random numbers. So do not bet this, but I picked random numbers so that you can see we've got 30 cents on the board. If I hit in this first dozen, okay, it's a wash because this first dozen protects my losses over here. Okay. If it hits in this middle row, right, between 35 and 14, it's a wash because it's protecting these numbers. Okay. However, if this number and this number overlap with any of these, right, then I'll get paid for 2 to 1 here, 2 to 1 here, and we'll have to subtract this one loss. So we'll make 20 cents in profit, 20 cents in profit, minus 10 cents in profit. So 20, 40, minus 10 would be 30 cents. We would gain 30 cents if it lands in these 4 numbers. Okay? And then the same concept over here. You can see that we've covered these 4 numbers. So if this number lands on 26 or 29, we get paid the payout for a corner bet, and we get paid out the payout for a row bet minus what we're losing over here on this dozen bet. So I hope that starts to make sense as you follow the Roulette Master or one of the casino master pages. You'll start to understand that as we put in corners and as we protect those corners, right, with different forms of a row, right? Now, one of my favorite bets that shows this off is the golden circle. And the golden circle says that we put 2 units on these corners. Oops. Sorry. 2 units on these corners. Oh, man. Guys, I'm going to need a better mouse maybe. 2 units on these 4 corners, right? And then we put 1 unit on each one of these splits. And then we come over here and we would bet on, we would bet on these streets. And I can't get my mouse for some reason to let me bet on the street here. So I'll have to look into that technical difficulty. But as you can see, if we bet this golden circle, okay, all of these are going to be losses unless we put some street bets or we put some dozen bets on over here. But just work with me inside of this circle for a minute. If it hits on the number 17 or the number 20, we get paid from this 10-cent split and this 20-cent corner and this 20-cent corner. You with me? So we get paid this 20 cents, that 20 cents, that 10-cent split. The 17 and 20 become essentially jackpot numbers, right? The 18 and 21, the 16 and the 19 become split and corner, right? So they become small jackpots. And then if we cover some of these numbers over here, it helps mitigate our risk by taking complete whacks every time. So then we want these to hit 18 through 19, like they're at 18, 21, 17. We want to hit these 6 numbers to start really gaining profit and money, right? We want to mitigate our risk over here somewhere by putting bets off to the side that help protect us, even if it just washes our total bet, okay? But you can see as you start to gain strategies, right? As you start to put together actual strategies, Dr. Pepper, Holy Grails, Eiffel Towers, Lowe's and Third, right? Lowe's and Third is one I just did a video on before this one, which is where we put a bet on the Lowe's and a bet on the Thirds. And we've got a 20-cent bet out there. The low numbers pay 1-to-1, right? So if we hit 1 through 18, we get 20 cents. It's just a wash. We don't lose money. We don't win money. We protected our money. This pays 2-to-1. So if we hit in this dozen, we get, we get 30 cents. So 10 goes for what we bet here, 10 goes for what we lost here. And we make a 10-cent profit. And then we're only whacking on these 6 numbers here and the 0. So we've got 7 whacks. So out of all of these, we've got 29 washes and winners. Okay. So I hope this was helpful. I know we're in about a 20-minute video here, and we did not even do a single spin, but I really wanted this to be an informative video. What's going to happen is I'm going to start to record a couple of these a week where we are learning and training with real money, with real casinos, with real online casinos. You can see I'm playing Bet Rivers here. And you can see I'm playing out of the state of West Virginia with this geolocation. And you can start to figure out that how roulette works and how to make it fun, entertaining, and how to make it, not overwhelming, how to make it an actual entertainment. And then, if you're prepared to lose a little bit of money, we've got 2150. So let's say we're prepared to lose 50 cents, and let's just put some bets out there. Let's put 10 cents on the low numbers. Let's put 10 cents on the red numbers. And let's put 10 cents on this, 10 cents on that, and 10 cents on this middle dozen. Everybody understand what's going on here, right? We've got 10 cents on the low numbers, 10 cents on the red numbers. If we hit a low number, 18-to-1, 1 to 18, we're going to get one of their chips back. Essentially, we're going to double this 10 cent, okay? If we hit a red number, we're going to double this 10 cent, okay? If we hit a number in this column, a number in this column, or a number in this dozen, we're going to get paid 2-to-1. And if we hit a 18, 16, 14, okay? If we hit an 18, 16, or 14, we're going to start to get multiple bets, okay? Now, if we hit an 18, 16, or 14, we're going to hit the dozen. We're going to hit, a red. We're going to hit a 1 to 18. If we hit a 14 or an 18, we're going to hit low number, red number, and one of the column numbers. So we want to hope for a 14 or 18, but we'll take any number that shows up. We've got 50 cents on the board, and we're going to spin live money, real bet, and we're going to see what happens. Live money, real bet. And here we go. We hit a number 6. 6 black. We won 50 cents. So we absolutely washed our money. We did not win money. We did not lose money. We hit a 6 black, and it was a wash because we hit the top dozen, and we hit the 1 to 18. We did not hit our red. We did not hit our middle. We did not hit our middle here. That enabled us to wash the money so that we have the exact same money we started with. We were able to place a bet, safely take a very minimal loss or a very minimal win or no win at all. So that's this 25-minute video. I really appreciate everybody, kind of taking the time to listen to me ramble and learn. These were some basic things that I wish I learned before I jumped into here's a strategy, imitate it. Here's a $5 strategy, take it down to $1. Here's a $10 strategy, take it down to, $2 bets. I wish I would have just stopped and actually actually studied the board before I jumped into it and studied not only the board, but how and why it works the way that it does. Okay. And again, when you start to realize that this in a strategy looks cool, but it's telling you that the number eight wins on both, right? The number eight is the jackpot number here. Yes, you'll win on all four, but that number eight is the key number. And if the number eight's the key number, we want to stack black. Or maybe number eight's the key number, so we want to stack red and odds. So that if number eight doesn't hit, right, then the odd numbers that are on red help us recover some of our bet. So, everybody, I really appreciate you sticking with me through this. I'm going to do more videos like this where we break down strategies, but we break them down into what I hope are newbie terms, noob um, ways of understanding them, and try to take out a lot of the language and verbiage where it just seems overwhelming, like you're walking into a Vegas casino and it is difficult to enjoy what you're doing. I want everyone to have that confidence that this is why things work the way they work, how things work, and why it's more entertainment value. And you can walk in, confidently place a couple bets. You can confidently play a strategy that you like. You can have a couple drinks and not get overwhelmed. That is the point of the Noob Casino. Thank you, everyone, and we'll catch you on the next video.